Hello everybody, one and all, welcome back to Let's Discuss Morrowind. The sort of offshoot little series that's spliced in with my Morrowind Let's Play to talk about how things are going, your thoughts, my thoughts, and then read all these books that we have to read, that we have more or less since jettisoned. But let's get a view of this place before we start, and hopefully not run into anything bad. This is the most sort of precarious area that I've ever done a video like this, but what a view. So, you guys seem to be really enjoying this, which is nice, and so am I, which is nice as well. It kind of works together that way. And as far as sort of you guys go and like how you think I should be doing things and whatever, once again, I haven't had too much back from you guys, which I'm going to take as a good thing, because you're sort of down with the way I'm playing Karish and everything, and I will sort of get into that in a little bit on my thoughts, but a couple little things are kind of, you know, more to do with spells and objects and everything, as opposed to the actual role-playing of the character, and I kind of like that. So, the Robe of Alteration in Balmora was mentioned, and will I be getting that? Because that seems like a thing that we kind of need and isn't sort of overpowered. Yeah, I think that's a good way to go. I think that we should do that. I think that we should get a permanent magic robe, because currently we just have that and various other non-enchanted robes. Eventually I think the Karish will be enchanting his own robes, but there aren't many Restore Magicka effects in the game, so I think that we should use that. I don't think it's overpowered because you can't spam it, and it doesn't restore that much, maybe as much as a sort of a regular Restore Magicka potion at most. Plus I have to buy it, and I think it was like 1,000, 2,000 coins. So I'll probably be getting that shortly. We could have maybe said that Karish has seen it but thinks, I don't need that. But after these adventures that he's currently on, he may well think, hang on a minute, it was pretty nice. Because maybe he didn't like the colour or whatever, and so he thought, no, I don't want that. Despite its useful enchantment, it didn't fit his fashion sense. Which will also be sort of tie into him maturing as a character, which I'll get into a little bit when I discuss my thoughts. But yeah, there are other Magicka effects. Somebody said that they're implemented in the expansions. I'm not keen on him having a bunch of Restore Magicka items, because it does swing the pendulum too far into him being like removing the weakness that he has in that he can't restore Magicka. But I think the robe's a good way to go. It's just a bit of a backup item that stops our reliance on potions so much, and will also reduce our weight a little bit, but I don't think it's like OP. So I know that Trebonius, the leader of the Mages Guild, has an amulet on him that restores Magicka for 1 point, and it's really, really good. It does a bunch of other stuff as well, which would be useful for this character, but I can't see the character actually getting that unless I really feel that he needs an amulet like that for the Tribunal expansion or whatever, and he feels that the Mages Guild leader is beneath his station, and he feels that he is going to kill him for whatever reason. But I can't see that happening really anytime soon. Another thing you guys mentioned was a spell to order summons to attack things, and somebody rightly said that a soul trap spell on target would be ideal for this, because I'm always casting it anyway, just using the touch version, and that triggers the enemies to attack. No, the summons to attack. The enemies are always already attacking, which is the problem. And yeah, that's a good way to go. I'll have to make it less duration, but then I can always follow it up with a touch, range spell with 60 seconds if I need to. But it does avoid actually touching the enemy. And when I say touch, you know, I don't. Even though like literally it probably is, I just think it's like really close as far as Karish is concerned. Just like really, really close, but he doesn't. No, just so that the magic kind of binds, but you don't actually have to make physical contact, even though I know it's touch, but you know, sort of adjacent, if you like. But another spell, other spells I can use is like a 1 point damage spell, which I know Karish doesn't really use damaging spells. It's sort of against the theory of the character. And no, I could do that. I'm sure there are other things that I could use as well that are a bit more passive, like blind, for example. Although something like alteration-y, like, you know, maybe a 1-point burden spell would also be quite good, because he is quite good at alteration, but he's not so good at mysticism yet. We're in mysticism 25, which isn't fantastic compared to his other major skills. So maybe, you know, if I was thinking about it, I should have put restoration and mysticism, should have swapped those two. If I was to make the character again, I would probably do that. Otherwise, I'm pretty happy with the way things have gone. Spear and marksman both on epic 16 now. The marksman's almost leveled, so that's fantastic. But yeah, we're doing pretty well in terms of like gameplay and everything. So I will buy those spells as we go in further. And I think Karish is like subtly developing quite well, and the fact that he's getting stronger, obviously, but he actually actively went into the State of Ruin, and we kind of retroactively fitted that he was hunting Daedra for his stronghold. I kind of put that in separately, so maybe I will investigate that cave at some point that's nearby, because I know full well that has a golden sight in it, and right now I don't want to capture the souls of my own summons, purely because it'd be like almost too easy to do that. But that is, like I said in the episode where I mentioned this, a safety net that we can use if I really get stuck and it's the only thing that we have to do, and it's just stopping us from advancing in Karish's quest and his story. Then I will do it, but otherwise I don't think I'm going to bother too much. I haven't really exploited the summons too much in terms of, you know, Floaty. I could use him to restore Magicka a little bit. I'm not sure why I haven't done that, really. Maybe I should. Especially in this sort of situation where he is now, where only thing is he can't really summon Floaty at all now. But that might be, you know, something that he does. Maybe if we actually find an ancestor ghost, and don't you come here, mate, don't you come round here, and we find that sort of effect, and then you know, Karish has the brainwave. I can use Floaty for that, because Floaty's useless for everything else. But yeah, he's getting fitter, he's getting stronger. What I mentioned before, just like a couple of minutes ago, about him sort of developing as a character. Oh yes, he's becoming more practical. In terms of buying that robe, maybe he didn't before, even though he could have afforded it because it didn't suit his needs. Whereas now he's getting more of an adventurer. I mean, he's out here in the wilds and he's not too comfortable about it. But he's dealing with it a lot better due to his, you know, advanced spell making and casting that he's got now compared to before. But I think that he does deserve a holiday, and I don't want to stray too far away from the fact that he does like his creature comforts and his luxury, and this, where we are right now, is a far cry from that, which is, I said because we've got gold as well, that we should take a holiday somewhere, and we haven't seen that much of the mainland either. I mean, Karish isn't an explorer. He's not insatiably curious or anything, so it's kind of difficult to get him to wander around and do things out of the ordinary and off the beaten path, if you like. Now, we've managed to do that a little bit in terms of, like, he's sort of got lost in ash storms and things like that, which is how he got his big break with that Daedric Ruin, which really helped sort of kickstart well, not the LP, but, you know, his development again, because he got some gold behind him. So we'll have to do things like that a little bit more, which is why I'm kind of against the idea of someone mentioning him becoming a little bit more hardened to ash storms and rain and things like that, because I think they really help him do what I just said. You know, it's a weakness that even though I think it does make sense that he would be better at dealing with it, maybe he just freaking hates it. And yes, we do have our umbrella spell, or whatever it was called, raincoat spell, but he'll use that as like a softening effect, but he'll really want to get out the rain and indeed the ash storm as quickly as possible, which will help us go into these random places and find stuff that we wouldn't normally find. But all in all, really happy the way things are going. We're getting quite far into Hell's Telvanni now, and so far Tribunal hasn't kicked off, and I did kind of wonder about whether I was going to bother with that, because right at the top of the bat I said this LP would feature Telvanni. Yep, got that. The main quest, well, we're doing that now, and Tribunal. But by Tribunal, I did install a delayer on the assassin, but the assassin still hasn't appeared. Probably because he's like quick in his boots now and doesn't actually want to fight Karish. But I think the Tribunal might be a bit too much of a distraction right now. So I'm almost kind of hoping that it leaves until we're done with House Telvanni. Except I know that the mods all you know, add stuff to House Telvanni to make it more interesting. You know, in the late game, or in the late sort of game for House Telvanni at least. But yeah, we're doing the main quest because we're kind of like being driven here. We went to that Daedra room because we heard about it, and that scout said, beware the Daedra there, they're very dangerous. And so Karish is like, aha, I'm after Daedra for my stronghold, I need the souls. So we went there, and now we've expended too much magicka so that we cannot recall back to Margan, and we're a bit beat up, and so we are going to be forced to go to the Urshulaku camp behind us. That's what it's called. And I kind of like that, because he's kind of a bit reluctant to explore these Neverine prophecies, considering that he is the one. Like before, he kind of owed the Emperor and everything, and you know, he was grateful to get out of prison, and so he was kind of okay doing jobs for that. Plus, you know, it's the Emperor, so I'm working for the Emperor. But now he's supposed to be this lost guardian, this ancient hero, prophesized savior, and he's a bit like, well, I don't really like these people. So it'll be interesting trying to get him to motivated into doing most of the quests, especially after enduring certain elements of the quest which are about to, you know, come up in the near future, shall we say. Basically when he catches corpus disease is what I'm thinking. But I suppose after that point he has no choice but to carry on for a little while longer, and that leads us back to you know, Telfair and everything like that. So all in all, really happy with it. Glad you guys are enjoying it. There's one other thing as well that I want to put out to you guys now, and it's kind of a big thing. And it's only for you guys who are watching this, because you guys are the elite. You guys are the clique, you know, you guys are really into it, because you're like probably willing to hear me witter on for 20 minutes rather than just watching me kill monsters. So, I'm thinking, this is a thought I've had for quite a while now, of extending this LP to 2 episodes a week. So I'll do one on Sunday and maybe one on Wednesday. And see how that goes, and that would remove this sort of video, because we're getting twice as much content. I would read the books in the Let's Play videos, so rather than having sort of like separate Let's Discuss videos where then I talk about all this kind of thing, I'd talk about it a little bit more during the game. So I'm thinking about it. Now, I know that obviously more content is good, but I think that this sort of discussion is also kind of valuable, and removing it, I'm not sure what sort of effect that might have, you know, because it's like a concentrated forum where we get to discuss ideas and everything, whereas in Let's Play videos, you know, I wouldn't be able to have this sort of thing because there'll be things happening in the game to distract me. So, double the content, but yeah, lose the Let's Discuss videos. Discuss that. Let me know what you think about that, because you guys are the ones who are going to miss this sort of video if it happens. So that's why I left it until the end, to get into, you know, the real fans of this sort of video. Yeah, I'm thinking about it for a while, because it's taken a little while, and while I'm never really in a rush, I feel that a week between sessions for me is quite a while, and I always feel that, you know, God, it's a long time since I played, even though it's only been a week. So, Ashtorm. So, yeah, doing it a bit more Morrowind for me is a no-brainer. But I'm you know, I was worried that doing it more than that might stretch things, but I'm pretty confident, having thinking about it for a few weeks, that I'll be fine. So yeah, let me know what you think about that. Alright, the Ashtorm is here, so we are going to pause the game, and I shall be back with the Let's Read session of this video. We're going to do it someplace nice, I don't think we actually have anything here, do we? No, it's all back in save games. So I'll be back, and then we'll do some reading. This is better, isn't it? This is nice. I really should lock that guy in there, shouldn't I? And take this place for myself, even though it's a little bit messy. Anyway, yeah, so we've got the crystal staff and 3 books. So I think really what we've already read. That was about, yep, that was about the dude who tried to get the shipwreck. So we've got 2 books to read in this save. A hypothetical treasury. A 1-act play by Anthil Movia. Okay, so this is the actors. So we've got Mouse Vazane, a high elf battle mage, a Inzolaya, a dark elf battle mage, Dol Ectus, a Cyrodiil healer, Shiavias, an Igonian barbarian, a ghost, and some bandits. So these are going to be Mal, Inz, Dol, and Shia from now on. How long is this? Quite freaking long. So yeah, Mal, Inz, Dol, and Shia. High elf battle mage, dark elf battle mage, Cyrodiil hero, and Igonian barbarian. So scene: Eldenwood. As the curtain rises, we see the misty labyrinthian landscape of legendary Elden Grove of Valenwood. All around, we hear wolves howling. A bloodied reptilian figure, Shia, breaks through the branches of one of the trees and surveys the area. Shia, it's clear. Inz, a beautiful dark elf mage, climbs... Inzo, I'll call her. Dark elf mage climbs down from the tree, helped by the barbarian. There is the sound of footsteps nearby. Shia readies his sword, and Inzo prepares to cast a spell. Nothing comes out. Inzo, you're bleeding. You should have... Dol doesn't really work either. Dolk? Okay, Dolk. Heal that for you. Shia? He's still drained. I'll not even freaking... You can read them yourself. He's still drained from all the spells we had to cast down in the caves. I'm fine. If we get out of this and no one needs it more, I'll take the last potion of healing. Where's Mal? Mal, a high elf battle mage, and Dulcetius, a Cyrodiil healer, emerge from the tree carrying a heavy chest between the two of them. They awkwardly try to get down from the tree carrying their loot. Here I am, though why I am carrying the heavy load is beyond me. I always thought that the advantage of dungeon delving with a great barbarian was that he carried all the loot. If I carried that, my hands would be too full to fight. And tell me if I'm wrong, but not one of the three of you has enough magicka reserved to make it out of here alive. Not after you electrified and blasted all those homunculuses down below ground. Homunculi. Don't worry. I'm not going to do what you think I'm going to do. Innocently. What's that? Kill you all and take the ebony mail for myself. Admit it. You thought I had that in mind. What a perfectly horrible thought. I never thought anyone, no matter how vile or degenerate. Why not? He needs porters, like he said. We can't carry the chest and fight off the inhabitants of Elden Grove both. Bystander, of all the mean, conniving, typically Argonian, and why do you need me alive? I don't necessarily, except that you're prettier than the other two, for a smooth skin that is, and if something comes after us, it might go for you first. There was a noise in some bushes nearby. Go check that out. It's probably a wolf. These woods are filled with them. You check it out. You have a choice, Inzo. Go and you might live. Stay here and you definitely won't. Inzo considers and goes to the bushes. Shia says this to Mal and Dolk. The king of Silvernow will pay good money for the mail if we can divide it, and we can divide it more nicely between 3 than 4. Inzo, you're so right. Inzo suddenly levitates up to the top of the stage. A semi-transparent ghost appears from the bush and rushes at the next person, who happens to be Shia. As the barbarian screams and thrashes at it with his sword, it levels blasts of whirling gas at him. He crumbles to the ground. It turns next to Dolk, the healer, and as the ghost focuses on its feasting chill on the hapless Dolk, Mal casts a ball of flame at it that causes it to vaporize into the misty air. Inzo floats back down to the ground as Mal examines the bodies of Dolk and Shia, who are both white-faced from draining power of the ghost, from the draining power of Ghost. You had some magicka reserved after all. So did you. Are they dead? Mal takes the potion from healing from Dolk's pack. Yes. Fortunately, the potion of healing wasn't broken when he fell. Well, I guess this leaves just 2 of us to collect the reward. We can't get out of this place without each other, like it or not. The 2 battle mages pick up the chest and begin plodding carefully through the undergrowth, pausing from time to time at the sound of footsteps and other eerie noises. Let me make sure I understand. You have a little bit of magicka left, so you elected to use it to make Shia the ghost's target, forcing me to use most of my limited reserve to destroy the creature so I wouldn't be more powerful than you. That's first-rate thinking. Thank you. It's only logical. Do you have enough power to cast any other spells? Naturally. An experienced battle mage always knows a few minor but highly effective spells for such a trial. Karish could learn a bit from this. I take it you too have a few tricks up your sleeve? Of course, like you said. They pause for a moment before continuing as a fearful wail pierces the air. When it dies away, they slowly trudge on. Just as an intellectual exercise, I wonder what spell you would cast at me if we made it out of here without any more combat. I hope you're not implying that I would dream of killing you so I would keep the treasure all to myself. Of course not, nor would I do that to you. It is merely an intellectual exercise. Well, in that case, purely as an intellectual exercise, I would probably cast a leech spell on you to take away your life force and heal myself. After all, there are brigands on the road between here and Sylvanar, and a wounded battle mage with a valuable artifact would make a tempting target. I'd hate to survive the Elden Grove, merely to die in the open. That's a well-reasoned response. As for myself, again, not saying I would ever do this, I think a simple sudden electric bolt would serve my purposes admirably. I agree about the dangers of brigands, but don't forget, we also have a potion of healing. I could easily slay you and heal myself to full capacity. Very true. It would end up a question then of whose spell is more effective at that instant. If our spells counteracted one another, and I leached your life energy only to be crippled by a lightning bolt, then we would both be killed. Or so near death that a mere potion of healing would scarcely help one of us, yet alone both. How ironic that it would be if 2 scheming battle mages, not saying we are scheming, but for purpose of this intellectual exercise, were left on the brink of death and completely drained of magicka, with 1 healing potion to choose from. Who would get it then? Logically, whoever drank it first, which in this case would be you, since you're holding it. Now, what if one of us were injured, but not killed? Logic would dictate that a scheming battle mage would take the potion, leaving the injured party to the mercy of the elements, I suppose. That does seem more sensible, but I suppose that the battle mages, while certainly scheming types, had a certain respect for one another. Suppose in that case the victorious one might, for instance, put the potion up a tree near his or her gravely wounded victim. Then when the wounded party had enough magicka replenished, he or she would be able to levitate the tree branches to recover the potion. By that time, the victorious battle mage would have already collected the reward. They pause for a moment at the sound of something in the bushes nearby. Carefully, they climb across the branches of a tree to bypass it. I understand what you're saying, but it seems out of character for a hypothetical scheming battle mage to allow his or her victim to live. Perhaps, but it's been my observation that most scheming battle mages enjoy the feeling of having bested someone in combat and having that person alive to live with the humiliation. These hypothetical scheming battle mages sound... Exactly. Daylight! Do you see it? The 2 scurry across the branch, dropping behind a bush, so we can no longer see them. We can, however, see the shimmering halo of sunlight behind the tall bush. We made it. Indeed. There was a sudden explosion of electrical energy and a wild, howling aura of red light, and then silence. After a few moments' pause, we hear someone climbing up the tree. It is Mal, putting the potion high up in the buff. A bow. He chuckles as he climbs back down, and the curtain drops. Epilogue. The curtain rises on a road to Sylvanar. A gang of bandits have surrounded Mal, who is dropped propped up on his staff, barely able to stand. They pull his chest away from him with ease. Bandit 1. What have we got here? Don't you know it ain't safe to be out here on the road, all sick like you are? Why don't we help you with your load? Please, let me be. Go on, spellcaster. Fight us for it. I can't. Too weak. Suddenly, Ezo flies in, casting lightning bolts from her fingers at the bandits who quickly scramble away. She lands on the ground and picks up the chest. Mal collapses, dying. Hypothetically, what if a battle mage cast a spell on another which didn't harm him at once, but drained his life force and his magicka bit by bit, so he wouldn't know it at the time, but feel confident enough to leave the potion of healing behind? A most treacherous battle mage she'd be, and, hypothetically, would she be likely to help a fallen foe so that she could enjoy the humiliation of him continuing to live? From my experience, hypothetically, no. She doesn't sound like a fool. As Inzo's lugs the chest off towards Sylvanar and Mal expires on the stage, we drop the curtain. Oh, that was good. I liked that play. And it was a nice little lesson for Karish as well, to always have something in backup. Alright. I've saved it. I don't know why. Luckily, I keep a different save, so I haven't saved over the actual LP. That would be bad. Lunar Lorcan by Fal Droon. I will not go into the varying accounts of what happened at the Adamantine Tower, nor will I relate the war of manifest metaphors that rendered those stories unable to support most qualities of what is commonly known as narrative. We all have our favourite Lorcan story and our favourite Lorcan motivation for the creation of Nirn, and our favourite story about what happened to his heart, Lorcan's heart. But the theory of the lunar Lorcan is of specific note. In short, the moons were and are the first two halves of Lorcan's flesh divinity. Like the rest of the gods, Lorcan was a plane that participated in the Great Construction, except where the 8 led portions of their heavenly bodies to create the mortal plane. Planet. Lorcan's was cracked asunder and his divine spark fell to Nirn as a shooting star, to impregnate it with the measure of its existence and a reasonable amount of selfishness. Massa and Secunda, therefore, are the personifications of the dichotomy, the cloven duality, according to the Atreum, that Lorcan legends often rail against. Ideas of the animus, good, evil, being, nothingness, the poetry of the body, throat and moan, silence as the abortive, and so on, set in the night sky as Lorcan's constant reminder to his mortal issue of their duty. Followers of this theory hold that all other heart stories are mythical degregations of the true origins of the moons, and it needn't be said that they observe the hollow crescent theory as well. Always a bit of a difficult thing to read. I saved it again. I don't know why. Alright, let's go to book 3, because I think... No, wait, that's just what I just did. Book 2 then. Yes. Although they could well be the same books, mostly, because we're outside here, aren't we? If it loads. Yep. Alright, so these are the same books. There should be another one there. Alright. Better safe than sorry, either way. So if we load this one, we'll see if that's it or not. I guess. See if any of these ring a bell. Hello. I think there's one here, isn't there? Misk? Okay. So we got breathing water, but I know that one. Wasn't there another one? Or are we done? No, there was that one. This is the one. Okay. So it's Shim of Idiom. Hopefully I only have to say that once. This is about Dwemer though, so by Marabas Sul. After many battles, it was clear who would win the war. The Chimer had great skills in magic and bladery, but against the armoured battalons of the Dwemer, clad in the finest shielding wrought by Nago, there was little hope of their ever winning. In the interest of keeping some measure of peace in the land, God, that's really messing with me. Sothan, the warlord, agreed a truce with Karen Ithil, Barith the Beast. Oh, I see. Yeah, and you okay. In exchange for the disputed land, I'm just going to Sothovin. Sothovin gave Barith a mighty golem, which would protect the Chima's territory from the excursions of the northern barbarians. Barith was delighted with this gift and brought it back to his camp, where all his warriors gaped in awe at it. Sparkling gold in hue, it resembled a Dwemer cavalier with a proud aspect. To test its strength, they placed the golem in the center of an arena and flung magical bolts of lightning at it. Its agility was such that few of the bolts struck it. It had the wherewithal to pivot on its hips and avoid the brunt of the attacks without losing its balance, feet firmly planted on the ground. A vault of fireballs followed, which the golem ably dodged, bending its knees and legs to spin around its blasts. A few times it was struck, it made certain to hit the chest or waist, the strongest parts of its body. The troops cheered at the sight of such an agile and powerful creation. With it leading the defense, the barbarians of Skyrim would never again successfully raid their villages. They named it Chim, the hope of the Chima. Barith has the golem brought to his chambers with all his house stains. They tested Chim further. Its strength, its speed, its resiliencies. They could find no flaw with its design. Imagine when the naked barbarians first meet this one in our raids, last one of the house stains. It is only unfortunate that it resembles a Dwemer instead of one of our own, mused Carenthiel Barith. It is revolting to think that they will have a greater respect of our enemies than us. I think we should never accepted the peace in terms that we did, said another, one of the most aggressive of the Souththanes. Is it too late to surprise the warlord with an attack? It is never too late to attack, said Barith, but one of his great armoured warriors. I understand, said Baeliff's spymasters, that his soldiers always wake at dawn. If we can strike an hour before, we can catch them defenceless before they've had a chance to bathe, let alone don their armour. If we capture their armourer, Django, unchained, then we too would know the secrets of the blacksmithery, said Barith. Let it be done. We attack tomorrow, an hour before dawn. So it was settled. The Chima army marched at night and swarmed into the Dwemer camp. They were relying on Chim to lead the first wave, but it malfunctioned and began attacking the Chima's own troops. And added to that, the Dwemer were fully armoured, well rested and eager for battle. The surprise was turned, and most of the high-ranking Chima, including Carenthiel and Barith the Beast, were captured. Though they were too proud to ask, Sothovin explained to them that they had been warned of their attack by calling one of his men. What man of yours is in our camp? Sneered Belith. Chim, standing erect by the side of the captured, removed its head. Within its metal body was Django, the armourer. A Dwemer child of 8 can create a golem, he explained, but only a true great warrior and armourer can pretend to be one. Publisher's note. This is one of the few tales in this collection which can actually be traced to the Dwemer. The wording of the story is quite different from the older versions in Aldmeris, but the essence is the same. Chim av an idiom may be the Dwemer. That this word occurs several times in plans of the Dwemer armor and Alimuncheni, but its meaning is not known. It is almost certainly not hope of the Chima, however. The Dwemer were probably the first to use heavy armors. It is important to note how a man dressed in armor could fool many of the Chima in this story. Also, note how the Chima warriors react. When this story was first told, armor that covered the whole body must have still been uncommon and new, whereas even then, Dwemer creations like Golem and Centurions were well known. In a rare scholarly moment, Marabar's soul leaves a few pieces of the original story intact, such as parts of the original line in Elmeris. Dwemer of 8 can create a Golem, but an 8 of Dwemer can become one. Another aspect of this legend is that scholars like myself find interesting is the mention of the calling. This is in this legend and in others, there is a suggestion that the Dwemer race as a whole had some sort of silent and magical communication. There were reports of the Sigic Order, which suggests they too share this secret. Whatever the case, there are no documented spells of calling. The Cyrodiil historian Borgusilus Melia first proposed this as a solution to the disappearance of the Dwemer. He theorized that in the First Era 668, the Dwemer enclaves were called together by one of their powerful philosopher-sorcerers, Kagrunak, in some documents, to embark on a great journey. One of such sublime profundity that they abandoned all their cities and lands to join the quest to foreign climes as an entire culture. So, a little bit closer to where the Dwemer disappeared to. Alright guys, that'd be it for this video of Let's Discuss. Hope you enjoyed that. You've got a nice amulet, mate. Just so you know.
Right, I'm intrigued.
Well, he knows, but yeah.
Go ahead.
He does. Alright guys, I shall see you soon. Next Sunday for Morrowind. More Morrowind. Until then, you guys take care. And toodaloo.